Hi there, this is the first part of a series of tutorials about making a quick and dirty spaceship for a isometrics game, so it's all pre-rendered. But I want to make something cool that's easy to build, and I don't have a lot of problems with actually modeling per se. Now, I'm just going to make a new scene. This is my engine, by the way, just the engine. And I'm going to start out with an oil tank, and I'll flip it to the Z and make this a little bit tinier. I wanted to do 50. This is going to be our engine. Now I'm actually making this editable because otherwise the seams at the caps will come off once I use deformations, and I don't want that. So I'm just going to make it editable, and I'm in model mode, so I'm just going to optimize it. What was the short key again? OU? No, UO. All right, great. So we got this oil tank sitting there, and I'm just going to put a displacer on it called, a modifier called the displacer. And if I add the displacer to my oil tank, it doesn't do anything. Why not? Because it needs shading. It actually needs some kind of procedural texture or regular texture to displace. It needs information. So I'm just going to ask for some, the simplest of surfaces. One of the simplest textures is the checkerboard. Now you can already see what it does, and it's kind of funky. And I'm just going to use a frequency, that's the number of fields black and white, to 3 and 6. And let's see, I'm just going to combine it with another texture. Now the way to do that is you go up the ladder, and here we have the checkerboard. This is our texture, and I'm just going to add so-called a fusion, which I prefer to use when combining textures together. And I'm just going to have to add something to the blend channel, which is basically overtaking this checkerboard right now. So in the blend channel, I'm just going to use a gradient, and you can already tell it's going across the U, and what I need to do is set that to the V. And it's completely smooth, so it made these smooth curves, and it's absolutely not what I intended to do, so I need to do something about the gradient itself. Now let's put these two paint buckets on the side, open the gradient right here, this little tiny black arrow, and just set this to none. We don't want to have any interpolation. Now, let's see. We need 2 more paint buckets. And let's see where we want it. We want it here, and maybe not in the end, so maybe somewhere over here. At the front and the end, we wanted to have an effect in the displacement, but maybe not in the middle. Maybe we want to have a band somewhere in the middle. We'll have a look. We'll have a look what it looks like. Right now, it's just the gradient doing all the work. Now, let's see what this mode will change when I put it up to screen. Now we're getting basically sort of like holes on the side where there's white bands where this checkerboard comes through the gradient, and we can still edit, see what we can do like this. Maybe put in another band. Whoops, wait a second, use something black like this. Oh, this looks kind of neat. And it already looks different from the first example that I made, but that's just not the point. I want to have a certain amount of detail that really sticks out, that is really like the general shape of this engine, and there's certain kinds of details on the outer surface that actually look like indentations and way more detail than this per se. So I'm just going to get a new material and plop it on the oil tank. First, get rid of the specular, the reflectance, and make this a very light gray. And then we're going to go into the bump map, and we're going to do exactly the same what we did with the displacer texture, only this time I'm just going to make it a little bit more funkier. Let's start off with the surfaces with the checkerboard again, and this time I'm going to use 3, 2, 4, and I get this, and let's see, using a fusion again, and this time I'm going to use a mask. Let's see what we can do with the blend channel. I'm going to use a checkerboard again. So just put in the surface checkerboard, and let's make this pretty high, 8 and 3, something like that. And now we're going to use something else, a mask. I just have to activate the layer, and here we're going to use surfaces tiles. We're going to use standard tiles, but I'm going to randomize the colors, and I'm going to make these into just shades of gray, nothing with color in it. So let's take out all the color, and this is too much like the other one, so let's put it up there. And this one, fairly dark shade of gray, and let's take off the bevel, take out the bevel width, and this looks really funky, and when I actually put it on and render it, it will look kind of like this. Now there's a number of ways to make it way more complicated. I'm just going to put this down to 5%. I just want to have it subtle. And let's see what else was with the tiles. Grout width, I'm just going to put that down to 0. So there's no seams between these little blocks, and of course I can crank this up to 200. Let's see what it does. Does it look any better? Yeah, it kind of does. I just want to have to add a little bit more of a percentage here. And this looks like it's all paneled and stuff. So that's pretty cool. Let's move on to the next chapter.